No, I think the thing that Republicans have said is Medicare and Social Security. Unfortunately, the president continues to drag his feet when it comes to the debt ceiling. And for all your viewers, what you really have to understand is we're now at a $31 trillion debt. What does that mean to you? Well, that means our debt is larger than our economy by 20%. The only time we've been at a percent to GDP like this, it was in World War II, when we were using and borrowing to save our nation and save the world. The challenge today is when the last debt ceiling was the largest debt ceiling ever lifted and spent it as fast as can be. So what does it really mean? It's like giving your child a credit card and they spend the credit card to the limit. You're responsible to pay for it. So yes, we're responsible for our debt. But do you automatically raise the limit on the credit card for your children? Or do you look at where you're spending the money and change the behavior? So when I've sat down with the president, I think the way our whole government is designed, you've got to have compromise. I actually think we should spend less because if you look at the revenues coming into government, it's the highest it's ever been in the history of America. And it's not just high in dollar value, percentage-wise. It's 20%. It's higher than it's been in decades. So it's not a revenue problem, it's a spending problem. And if you look back just 4 years when Democrats were in power in Congress, they increased discretionary spending by 30%. So it's fair to look at the 8 years before that when Republicans were in the majority. Well, in those 8 years, Republicans increased discretionary spending by 0. They actually decreased it by $10 billion. So how did we get to this problem? Well, you had one...
Greetings, friends. I have shocking news to share with you this Friday evening. Republican lawmakers are now pushing for even bigger cuts to SNAP monthly benefits. Millions of low-income households may lose hundreds of dollars in crisis relief money. And this comes as food prices continue to skyrocket. My friends, please do me a big favor and watch until the end of this video because I will be sharing with you everything that you need to know. Also, I will be announcing 2 winners in a video later today for the $75 Walmart gift card giveaway. If you'd like to enter the weekly giveaways, friends, all you have to do is make sure that you are subscribed to my channel, click and like several of my videos, and then do comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you watch and then leave a comment on, the greater your chances, my friends, of winning the giveaways. As Republicans grapple with spending cuts, it appears they're now setting their sights on major changes to food stamp requirements since the GOP took control of the House. A host of areas to cut spending have been floated around the chambers of Congress to include a potential deal to raise the debt ceiling. The Washington Post reported that Republicans are now looking to include cuts to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program in their proposals to reduce the deficit, especially by enforcing strengthened work requirements and reduction in benefits. The potential reduction comes as millions of recipients are already bracing for a steep cut in benefits. This March, a crisis-era expansion of SNAP is set to wind down, leaving 16 million Americans to lose an average $82 a month in grocery spending. That expansion brought all SNAP recipients to the maximum benefit level. Traditionally, the amount that recipients receive is income tested, with funds allocated based on their earnings. Those previously eligible for the maximum amount in benefits also received an additional $95 per month, but lawmakers stipulated in the December omnibus bill that the emergency allotments would wind down in March 2023. Even as food prices remain very high. For some Americans, especially older ones on fixed incomes, that means $258 will evaporate from their monthly food budgets. Right now, some Republican legislators want to make SNAP eligibility requirements even more stringent. 5 GOP lawmakers, including Representative Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert, wrote a letter to President Biden last week urging him to enact work requirements as a feature of welfare reform. The group stated, structural reforms to SNAP will better position funding for people in need while incentivizing able-bodied people to return to the workforce. These incentives will prevent the condemnation of SNAP beneficiaries to a life of dependency. The GOP House Budget Committee also signaled last week that SNAP was on their list of areas in which they would support spending cuts. They wrote in a press release that placing work requirements on SNAP would save tens of billions of dollars, along with requiring income verification for the program. Now, according to experts, GOP attacks on food stamps are not new. In 2020, the former president tried to end the benefits for nearly 700,000 unemployed Americans, which a federal judge struck down alongside an opinion that stated it would leave states scrambling and exponentially increase food insecurity for tens of thousands of Americans. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts about these proposals? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Democratic lawmakers are unlikely to be on board with Republicans' proposal to cut benefits. Senator Debbie Stabenow, the chair of the Senate Agriculture Committee, has recently told the Washington Post that she would not support requirements that only serve as obstacles for people getting the help they need to get back on their feet. New government data for January shows that high inflation has continued into the new year. That has many economists very worried that high prices may prove to be sticky, even as the Federal Reserve works to slow inflation by raising interest rates. According to the January Consumer Price Index data that was released by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, though some prices climbed, others subsided. The CPI measures changes in consumer prices by measuring a basket of goods and services over time. Transportation costs were only one area where prices were in flux. Notably, a jump in gasoline prices was one of the contributors to an overall 0.5% increase in the CPI for the month. Gasoline prices rose 2.4% in January, while it fell 7% in December of last year. Yet looking back at the past 12 months, gasoline did not make the list of top cost. Meanwhile, fuel oil dipped 1.2% in January, but was up 27.7% for the past 12 months. While high gas prices made headlines in 2022, prompting gas tax holidays in some states, those prices have subsided from last year's highs. The current national average for a gallon of gas is $3.42. That is up 1 penny from the previous week. The highest recorded average price was $5.02 as of June 2022. Well, my amazing and most beautiful friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this Friday. Friends, I'll be announcing 2 winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway in a video later today. So please make sure that you do stay tuned for that video. Thank you, friends, and have a wonderful and very blessed Friday.